All my favorite games are pay to win. Yep.
So a few weeks ago, I was putting together a video taking a look at all of the upcoming MMOs, just trying to get a sense of what's on the horizon, and while working on that, I noticed a recurring trend. I'd be describing one of these games, going through its list of features, content, and mechanics, just kind of overviewing everything we know, and then ultimately, that overview would end with, I'd say, but also it's confirmed going to be pay to win, so I'll do what I usually do in these circumstances, level up and play till end game, check out the content, and then leave as soon as I hit the point where not swiping either puts me at a big disadvantage or requires excessive amounts of grinding. I then move on to describing the next game in the list, saying here's this new MMO with its cool features, content, and mechanics, but looks like this one is also confirmed going to be pay to win. All right,
the reason why games are pay to win is because, this is one, they're making this one pay to win? Wait, what? What the fuck do you mean it's pay to, what the fuck?
Then let's talk about this other new MMO with these features, mechanics, and wait a second. Yeah, this one also looks very likely to be pay to win as well. What the hell? It's not that I hadn't noticed, not that it's not been obvious for years now, but really at that moment, I found myself thinking, man, is every single game in my favorite genre from here on out going to be pay to win forever? And the answer pretty much seems to be yes, with but a few exceptions. Most of the
MMOs right now cannot function without having some level of pay to win. I think every single MMO basically has pay to win, and I think that the only exception to that is basically like Final Fantasy XIV doesn't have that really, but other than that, OSRS has bonds. Yeah, you can buy gold in OSRS. WoW has WoW has everything. They can't function, but they don't make billions. I think the problem is that the economy doesn't support a game that doesn't need pay to win yet. I disagree on the forever part. I do too. I think that in the future, whenever games are a lot cheaper to develop and they can be developed through AI and through other types of technological innovation, then you're going to see games that are going to be able to come out that can work in a business model that isn't beholden to pay to win. But until that happens, it's not going to matter.
The new upcoming MMOs that we know about are already either confirmed or appear very likely to fall somewhere on the scale of pay for convenience and or pay to win. Very few.
Keep in mind, pay for convenience and pay to win are the same thing.
Are just coming out where you'll buy the game, you play the game, transaction complete, nice doing business with you. For the most part, that is not what we're getting. And yeah, that kind of sucks. I mean, paying extra for these games has always been a thing. What with MMOs basically being the grandfather of the live service genre, consistent online support, patches, and content updates has meant that these games for the longest time have had a price tag greater than just one upfront cost. In fact, for years,
that's true, but generally, the problem with pay to win is whenever there's no ceiling to it. It's not the fact that you have some degree of pay to win. Like, for example, you have like the crystalline aura in Lost Ark, and then you have like a subscription in WoW. The problem is whenever pay to win is uncapped. In the case where a person who spends $500 is weaker than a person who spends $1,000. If the only thing that you need to do is spend $20 a month for a game, then I don't really think that it's pay to win. That's basically a subscription, right? But the issue is whenever you can spend more and more and more money.
Many of them required monthly subscriptions to play at all. And while that was the norm for a while, it's more a relic of the past at this point.
You can't require a subscription because it's too big of a barrier to entry. Nobody wants to spend $15 just to figure out whether they like a game or not. And also, Blizzard's $15 mark, like, people assume subscriptions are $15. Well, Blizzard was charging that in 2004. How much is that in today's terms? Probably $29, $31, something like that. Like, let me see. How much would it be now? Inflation calculator. Okay. I bet it's going to be between $29 and $39. $29 and $31. Okay. $15 in November of 2004. 24. Okay. I overestimated. $24. Still, that's really what the price of it is adjusted for today's for today's price. That seems like an underestimate. Yeah, I thought it was too, actually. But anyway, that's what the calculator says. And anyway, if people charge $25 as a sub now, nobody's going to buy the game. It's going to be too expensive because the price has been decided at $15.
Except for a few heavy hitters like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah.
Most everyone else has dropped the requirement, certainly out of necessity, because they just can't compete and it would mean they would shut down. And it's been replaced with them monetizing just about everything else. Or replace the technical requirements of a subscription with an optional one. We're talking subscription alternatives via battle passes or convenience buffs that are pretty much but not technically required. I'm talking about the crystalline auras and the ESO pluses of the world. And this
I, by the way, am completely in support of that, and I think that's the best way that you can make a game. I think that's the only way that they can do it in now's economy. You can play the game for free, but there is like one benchmark that if you're paying a sub, you can play this much more of the game. How is that not pay to win? Because I view it as being pay to win in the same context of buying the game as pay to win, because you can't win at the game if you don't buy it. I think that asking somebody to pay like a small subscription fee for a game on a monthly basis that's not capped, or sorry, that is capped at a very low amount, I find that to be extremely reasonable. And like inside of the economy that we have now, I think you have to have that. No company does that though. Lost Ark does it. He just gave 2 examples of games that do it. He said ESO and Lost Ark do it. They just... Come on, guys.
whole thing got me thinking where my pay-to-win line is personally, because everyone has their own point where a game's monetization will hinder the experience enough that they want to stop playing. And it might just be conditioning, maybe it's because I've grown accustomed to it over the years, but I really truly feel like the flat subscription fee was the least offensive and least game/experiencing ruining option of them all. It's not
it is, but the problem is that it's too big of a barrier to entry. And also, it's not a big deal for somebody like Force. Like, he's got a YouTube channel. He's doing pretty well. For me, it's not a big deal. A lot of you guys probably can spend $15 a month, and you don't even notice it. It doesn't even matter to you. But for a lot of people, and this is especially true in other developing countries, they don't have that option. So that's why every game is becoming free to play.
Most accessible, that is for sure. Having a required monthly charge is going to be a big turnoff to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's huge.
It will certainly limit a game's potential player base. I understand that. And
I think that it's impossible to make a new game that has a subscription. I don't think you can do it. I don't think it's sustainable.
On a budget, younger players with little income or people who just want to save the money are way less likely to play games with required monthly fees. So I do understand, I get the fact that this isn't the best option for a game looking to attract as many players as possible, which, yes, I'll admit is most games. But at the same time, I am convinced it is the option least likely to ruin a game. If we are accepting of the idea that MMOs require some form of additional monetization to keep them running and support...
I agree with his point, though, and I would prefer that, but I think that you need to have a free-to-play option for the game and then a subscription that fully unlocks the game. That way people can try the game out and see if they like it, and then if they do like it, then they can subscribe. Like Final Fantasy does this. They're the best at doing this because they have, like, you can go through all of, even like Final Fantasy, you have like the base game, you have the first expansion for the game, and you can also have the second expansion for the game. So you have like 3 games that you can play all the way through for fucking free until you can actually until you actually have to pay a sub. And that's the way to do it. It's 3 now. Is Shadowbringers? Shadowbringers is free now? Up to Stormblood. Okay, so it's 2 expansions. It's Heavensward and Stormblood, and then A Realm Reborn is the base game. So it's 3. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's 3, guys. Not... Yeah.
in the game with continuous patches and content updates, which I do. I understand that just a $60 base box price isn't going to support a live service game to get continuously supported constant updates and patches and new content. I get that. It just doesn't cut it. If we're understanding that, my vote is for the flat subscription fee in lieu of, well, every other option
everything
that we've been presented with. After years and years and years, probably hundreds of games worth of experience at this point, I can say personally that I'd swap every alternative to return to paying a box price and a monthly subscription, because everything else that's been put behind a paywall ruins these games in so many more ways. And
he's completely right, by the way. I don't think any MMO will ever be popular. It will never be like world changing, like big, huge game like World of Warcraft, Fortnite, Minecraft. They will never hit that peak. They won't even get 10% of that. And I really want you guys to understand that. WoW now is like not even 10% as culturally relevant as it used to be in like the late 2000s. It's not even 10%. And the reason why is because, again, MMOs are a even playing field for everybody. And this is, of course, not really true, because if you have like a job and a family, you can't really compete against a 19-year-old that's unemployed. But it is an even playing field for 19-year-olds that are unemployed. And there's a lot of them, and they're looking for that. No game can have, I think that there will never be an MMO that has that level of like transformative success that has any pay to win or any pay for cosmetic items. Maybe you can have one or two, but that's it. Anything that has like a game store that has like a bunch of armor sets that you can buy, it will never be successful on the same level that WoW was.
Is where my line is personally when the games are made worse. I don't love it. Crazy, I know, right? So what
every game that has a store is made worse because of the store.
Talking about, well, you know the whole list of things, right? We've got the convenience gating with aspects of a game designed to be inconvenient so that they can sell you the solution. This comes in a few forms, like limited inventory, games that restrict the default amount of bag or
energy
bank space
systems
to the point where you're gonna fill up and run out fairly quickly, but wouldn't you know it, they're selling more space in the cash shop.
Convenient.
Or grind skips. We know MMOs, they are built on grinding
level
to
boosts.
level, to acquire resources and currency, to earn faction reputation. The list goes on. So what you'll see is some combination of those grinds inflated, not for the sake of the experience, but so they feel just tedious enough that you want to speed up the process, and the cash shop just so happens to sell you the means of doing that. They'll sell.
Yeah, like the Lost Ark is the worst for this. Lost Ark is a great game that is strangled to death by its monetization.
Experience, golden reputation boosters, harvesting multipliers, or better yet, maybe they just straight up let you purchase the resources, currencies, and levels in question. And then there are the time savers. Sort of along those same lines, games will sell various means of saving time beyond those related specifically to grinding. Things that
and this will always be an advantage. This is what people don't understand, is that even at the highest level, the people that are like, for example, like the best players and the people that have the best teams in Honkai Star Rail, they're really good at the game and they know everything about the game, but they also spend a lot of money.
Increase travel speed or eliminate the need to travel altogether with things like mobile banks and vendors, for example. Pets that pick up loot for you. Games that might have energy systems where you run out daily will then sell you items to refill said energy so you can keep using it and getting whatever benefits come from that. Some games will sell literal time savers, either items or buffs that reduce crafting times, research times, and remove travel cooldowns. And all of those there fall into the pay for convenience camp. But then there is
again, anybody at the highest level, people that are going to, like, the best players in these games do both. They are very good at the game, and they're also utilizing the pay for convenience features, which make them even better.
Pay to win side of things, the power gating, where games will either have a soft or hard cap on natural power progression via playing, usually in the form of gear, but then sell the means to bypass that. So if you play normally, there will be some sort of a restriction or grind that requires waiting days or weeks before you can
And one of the best and cutest things about this is the fact that whenever you introduce these systems into MMOs, then the players hold each other accountable to spend money inside of the systems. Because like in Lost Ark, for example, you're expected to have, you know, I don't know if it's Light of Salvation 30 still, but like it was Light of Salvation 12 at least, right? Light of Salvation 30 at least, right? There's a huge social pressure that exists in order for people to continue playing the game. And that's, I think, the worst thing about it, is the fact that you have that social pressure.
Get that next big gear upgrade, or you
it's
can
the same with Diablo Immortal. So in Diablo Immortal, there are something called legendary crests, and there was a whole thing of like no cresters, where people that were trying to join runs and then not use their crests and use other people's. So then the players in the game were bullying each other into spending money in the game in order, fucking no cresters, exactly, yeah. That's the kind of gatekeeping. Yes, you don't want to be considered a mint picker. Exactly. There it is.
Do it immediately. So we've got cash shops where you can outright purchase items that make you more powerful, although that is quite rare. Usually it'll be one step removed. They won't actually sell you the end product, but instead...
I have a chart for this. Yes. So, this is the way the game works now. And if you zoom in here, we can see that, in fact, the game is not actually pay to win, because you don't actually spend money to get the gear. You spend money and you get the gold, and the gold just, in fact, can get the gear. It's totally different.
They sell you a required item or resource to upgrade your gear to get to the thing that you want, with that item or resource being rather rare or time-gated and difficult to get naturally via just playing. Or you've got games that will sell you in-game currency or let you get premium currency to buy in-game currency and then use that in the game's auction house to then trade with other players for those various upgrades that you happen to want that make you more powerful. And those are just a few examples of the convenience and or power gating, the pay for convenience and pay to win that is all too common in this genre, both in the games that we already play, but also in pretty much all of the new upcoming stuff as well, which is really what spurred on me making this video. Taking a look at what's on the immediate horizon, we're talking somewhere between now
in the future, and in the I would say foreseeable 5 to 10 years, every single MMO that's going to come out will find some way to be pay to win. Or it will have a cosmetic shop that completely undermines the visual progression of the game. That's just the way it's going to be. The reason why I think this is because these games cost too much money to make. And right now, because of the price of making these games, they have to do it to make their money back. There's no other way, though? I think so. Yeah, there will be, but not yet. It's a business. Let them make money. Well, yeah, but I just, I don't want to play a game like that, right? That's my opinion. Like, sure, yeah, they can make money, but not off of me. No, actually, yeah, maybe I might spend money for, like, content, but, if I'm not a content creator, I'm not spending money on this shit. It's a joke.
And the next 5 or so years, the MMOs that are coming in that window or possibly coming in that window, how are they looking on the pay to win and pay for convenience scale? I'll give you a little foreshadowing, not that great. Or in other words, they're looking good if you like pay for convenience and pay to win. So we've got the handful of Eastern MMOs that for sure guaranteed 100% are going to be pay to win. Throne and Liberty is already confirmed to be pay to win. It has already launched in Korea. We know what they're going to be monetizing, and without a doubt, most, if not all of that, will be coming to the global release as well. Blue Protocol is also now confirmed to be pay to win. It's just going to happen. For Arcade 2, well, this might as well be confirmed.
It's going to be pay to win. It's pay to win. It's going to be obviously 100% pay to win. Everybody knows it.
Because it is the sequel to Arcade after all. I would not expect it to be anything other than pay to win. And while Chrono Odyssey has yet to be confirmed pay to win,
it's going to be pay to win. Like, we just don't know yet. It's going to be pay to win, 100%.
One way or another, because we just don't know that much about this game. My money's on yes, it most likely is going to. Beyond all of the Eastern MMOs, which are historically pay to win and seem to be living up to that reputation.
Somebody says just don't be poor. Am I the only person that thinks that I care less about a game being pay to win whenever, I care more about it being pay to win whenever I have the money to lose? Like, Because like whenever I know that any accomplishment that I can make in the game, if I hit a wall, all I really need to do is spend more money to get over that wall. It makes it feel like it doesn't even matter. Like, okay, so I spent $100 and now I'm winning. Oh yeah, I'm a real winner now. Agreed, so why play? Yeah, why even play? That's my perspective. Like, I would say that having the disposable income makes it even less appealing to me. Because I know what the inevitable outcome will be.
Going forward in the upcoming releases that we have on the near future. We also have the sort of MMOs, the MMO lights, the shared world games, many of which are also pay for convenience or winning. So there's Soulframe, which of course comes from the Warframe devs, so it will be pay for convenience at the very least, because as we all know, Warframe has a lot of ways to spend money to skip grinding to save you a lot of time. Project LLL will be no doubt pay to win. It is
Well, just look at the name.
developed by NCSoft after all.
Oh, yeah, then it's going to be pay to win.
And while some of the games they publish aren't necessarily pay to win, pretty much all of the games they have developed have been. For Once Human, well, they have adamantly claimed
they're not
zero pay to win, but
as
someone who has spent well over 100 hours with the game at this point, I can tell you it has endless streams of currencies, reward tracks, and time-gated content and resources that I don't see how it's possible it won't be pay to win. There is like at least 10 different things that are very likely to be purchasable in one way or another via the cash shop. The game is just primed for gating progression behind the paywall. They are saying it's not going to happen. We will see once the game officially comes out. As for Dune,
so there is no new information. That's actually not true what he's saying. It is, but it's an implication. He's making an assumption. The game has a literal gacha machine inside of it, and you play the gacha machine to get legendary weapons and legendary armor, and then you need multiple copies of them in the same way that like many other gacha games have, where it's like it empowers the gun once you get duplicate versions of it. So, in fact, he is right about this, but at the same time, it's not the same degree, and it also has, it is the same degree. It has not been confirmed. And at the current point in time in the beta, you are not able to purchase this at all. So he is making an assumption, but I do think that it would be fair to assume that a gacha machine inside of a game that uses a secondary currency might just be buyable in a store. I got a feeling.
Awakening, well, I'm not so sure about this one. I do expect it'll probably follow a similar trajectory to Conan Exiles. While I'm not intimately familiar with that game, from what I've heard, it launched mostly free of this stuff, but then over time slowly had convenience for sale items added. So it's quite possible that that trajectory will happen for Dune Awakening as well. And for PAX Day, well, they've already said in discussion about how they're going to monetize this game that they will be starting with a box price and a subscription fee, and they will be supplementing monetization by selling additional services and also including a WoW token equivalent. And that is a bulk of
if you can buy gold, the game's pay to win. Like, that's just it. It's pay to win. Like, because you just buy gold and then buy whatever you want with the gold. You don't buy the machine, but you quest for it. In the beta, the currency for the machine is earned in the game. Yes, it's called Starchrome. I know exactly what you're talking about. I put 300 hours into the game. I know. But what I'm saying is that I think that they might put it on the store.
What we've got from the MMOs that are scheduled to release within these next, like, let's say 2 to 5 year windows, pretty much all of them have either pay to win or pay for convenience. Now, my hopes of us getting good MMOs not full of intrusive microtransactions anytime soon were dashed pretty hard recently. In March, Riot announced that they were going to be going back to the drawing board and starting over with the development of the League of Legends MMO, saying that after a lot of reflection and discussion, they've decided to reset the project as their initial vision just wasn't different enough from what's currently currently available on the market.
Yeah,
Here they emphasized they didn't want to offer just another MMO we've played before with a Rune Terracotta paint, but wanted to deliver something that feels like a significant evolution of the genre. So this decision to start over definitely couldn't have been a light one, considering Riot began prototyping this game in 2016, which means they're hitting reset on 8 years of development. And with this announcement, they said they're going to be going dark and not talking about the project for several years. I definitely expect the Riot MMO to at least sell some semblance of convenience, or maybe even if they're just focused on the cosmetic side of things.
I think that they won't. I think that they know that if they do that, it will make their game garbage. I don't think they will. And I think they know that their reputation is riding on it. And I bet that they would probably rather not release the game than release it with something that would damage their reputation. Now, they might sell skins. Yeah, they'll probably sell skins or something like that. But I would be amazed if they had any pay to win or even pay for convenience.
Pulling their inspiration possibly from League of Legends, right? That said, yeah, we're not going to be getting this game for at least 5 to 7 years would be my guess. And then prior to that, earlier in the year, we got the news that Blizzard's in-development survival MMO, code-named Odyssey, was just outright canceled. This came after a significant round of layoffs, with Microsoft letting go of 1,900 employees. Like with the Riot MMO, this also...
Well, the game could have also just been garbage. None of us played the game, so like it could be... Honestly, they could have made the right call with this.
Happened fairly far along in the process. We know that Blizzard's Odyssey spent 7 years in development, beginning production in 2017. The game was said to be in a playable state as of 2022. Odyssey really did seem like it was going to be Blizzard's first post-WoW attempt at releasing another large-scale, massive multiplayer game. And for as much as the company has changed and for all of their issues they've had over the years, it was still certainly something I was interested in seeing and giving a shot. But yes,
well, I was interested in seeing it, but like I don't really know if Blizzard has the... I don't know if they can make good games anymore. I'm not sure. Like, I feel like with Overwatch, it's been shit. With WoW, it's shit. Like, Diablo 4 is, like, just barely not shit now after, like, a year after the game's been out, but people still think it's shit. It doesn't even matter anymore. Like, I'm just not... I'm not optimistic.
As of January, after 7 years in development, Odyssey is no more. And those two were pretty massive, like on the near horizon MMOs, because they had both been in development for 6 to 8 years. We thought that they might be coming in the next few years, and those were games that I thought could be on the lighter side of monetization. And before you laugh, like, yes, Blizzard certainly monetizes a lot of aspects of their games, but they tend to be less intrusive into the game experience. At least that's what I would have expected.
No, he's right about this. Overwatch isn't really explicitly pay to win, and neither is Diablo 4. And Season of Discovery isn't pay to win, and Classic WoW isn't pay to win unless like Classic Era is not pay to win. That's true.
The survival game, I would assume that survival game might have followed along the lines of Diablo 4's monetization. Like, yes, they got the
like
battle
that. That's
pass,
what I would
yes,
assume.
they got cosmetics, but not too much of the requirement for swiping surfaces itself in the course of playing the game. And that's really what I'm talking about when we talk about games, and we will look at games like ArcAge, like Black Desert Online, like Throne of Liberty. I know BDO has changed over the years, so it's been a while. Forgive me.
It's still pay to win. It's still pay to win. It's pay to win. It was pay to win the first day it came out. That's just the way it is.
Not current on how monetization currently feels. There's a lot of games where the monetization ends up like just smacking you in the face throughout the course of playing the game, and then there are games where the monetization kind of feels like it's there, but it's not bleeding into the game playing experience, if that makes any sense. And I think things like cosmetics definitely
any game that has pay for convenience will have that gameplay bleed into the experience. Because whenever you have pay for convenience, you create a profit incentive for a company to make a game inconvenient. And whenever that starts happening, it doesn't stop. That's whenever they start putting ankle weights on you. It's like, oh, you got to deal with this. Like, oh, we're going to make you wear a backpack and it's 5 pounds heavier every single week. There's something always, they're designing the game around it. Yeah, the game, if the game has an in-game shop that is used in order to get people to like get advantages into the game, the entire game will be contrived around being a funnel to that shop. That's what's happened with Lost Ark. That's what's happened with Diablo Immortal. That's what happened with, I would say, like something like BDO even, right? Is like obviously everything in the game serves to incentivize using the shop. That's just the way it is. ESO, I'm not sure about ESO.
Follow suit there. And I would even say for World of Warcraft, I understand, like, technically speaking, because of the WoW token, meaning you can buy gold, and because with gold you can buy carries, that allows you to technically purchase gear as an individual while playing the game. That's never surfaced to me, really. Like, I can just play the game and experience the game and never feel the impulse to buy. Now, that doesn't mean that other people don't. It doesn't mean it doesn't affect other people. It doesn't even mean that it doesn't affect me, because yes, maybe other people getting gear faster than me has some sort of an impact on me.
It does.
Really not personally for how I play, but I do understand the argument there for how
it absolutely does. And like, for example, if you have people that are in GDKPs and you want to do a raid and everybody is doing GDKP, you can't do the raid without the gear or the money, then you're going to have a problem. Or if there are different types of expectations that people have, like in Lost Ark, for example. I guess he's talking about specifically like WoW, so I'll just talk about WoW. I think what ends up happening is that people are able to accelerate their progress because they buy gold. And if people are able to accelerate their progress and you're competing against them for a spot in a raid, they will beat you, because assuming that they put in the same amount of effort. So you're going to have to work harder than somebody who's putting in the same amount of effort than you because of money. It's pay to win.
People do consider World of Warcraft or any game that lets you buy gold pay to win. Like, certainly I get that. It's really when the game design is interfaced with that cash shop, and again, it smacks you in the face.
WoW is definitely a lot better than other games like BDO or Lost Ark. It's definitely better.
Throughout the course of playing and experiencing the game, when that happens, that's when it's most egregious to me. Not the presence of any sort of potential microtransactions or a game having a cash shop. That merely being the case isn't egregious enough to just really upset me and ruin the game playing experience. Like with Lost Ark, when you have this gear upgrading system and you go down to like a 0.5% to succeed, otherwise you fail, and games where gear can break or you lose resources or you require weeks of grinding, but then they conveniently surface to you, hey, here's this cash shop where you can skip all of that and just buy the thing that you want to make yourself more powerful. That is the worst implementation. That is the side of it that I really, really personally dislike. And so the reason...
Yeah, it's whenever you're handicapped in the game and you have to pay money to remove the handicaps. That's the worst thing about these games.
That I brought up the Riot Runeterra MMO, the League of Legends MMO, and the reason that I talked about Blizzard's survival game is because I expected both of those games to be on the lighter side of that equation. And there are other AAA MMOs that may very well be that way as well. We really don't expect to see them anytime soon. So I'm talking about the Lord of the Rings MMO that is coming out of Amazon, the fact that Sony is reportedly working on a Horizon-themed MMO. There's also
New World isn't really in a great spot. I would say it's in a very bad spot, probably one of the worst spots of any MMO right now. I would not really put a lot of faith in Amazon to do it the right way, because they haven't done any game the right way. I think that Lost Ark was mismanaged. I think that also, New World has been mismanaged. Like, there's not a very good track record there.
Warhammer MMO coming from Jackalope Games. There's the Ghost MMO from Fantastic Pixel Castle. We've got Guild Wars 3 coming, and ZeniMax Online Studios, the developers of ESO, they've got a new MMO in the works as well. I would assume that most of these will have some sort of pay for convenience. I think that's certainly likely, but I think they're far less likely to have aggressive in-your-face experience hindering pay to win. And so, yes, I am still tentatively looking forward to these games, but like I said, these are still way far out on the horizon. I don't think we're going to see any of those games that I just listed for at least 5 to 7 years, at the least. Which one of these would be likely to come out the soonest? Maybe actually ZeniMax's MMO, because apparently that has been in.
To me, I think that people need to stop hoping for the next MMO to be like this great, amazing WoW killer game. I feel like it's just not going to happen anytime soon. It's really just not going to happen. Like, it will happen in the future. But like, as I said, I think that we need a genuine like technological revolution, or not revolution, but innovation, in order for what an MMO needs to succeed to be viable.
development for a long time, but all those other games that I just listed, they are years and years, maybe even more than a decade away from coming out. Point of which being the immediate horizon when it comes to new MMOs for us to play. It's not looking particularly good if you were hoping for ones that aren't aggressively pay to win or heavily laden with pay for convenience.
Yeah, that's just how it is. You don't really buy enough mats to skip honing above 1620. To be honest, 1620 is realistic for free to play. The real question is, are you okay with 3 months grinding to finish the game in MMO? See, like, this is the problem that a lot of people have with, like, talking about this, is that this isn't really true for Lost Ark. You still need to learn how to do Thamine mechanics you won't clear with the Ester 8, etc. So, this is the problem. People that are really invested into a game try to get into, like, granular details to explain why their game isn't as pay to win as it might be perceived. But it doesn't really matter. The truth is the game is still pay to win. If you and somebody who spends $10,000 more than you are applying for a group, who gets into the group? Assuming equal skill and gear, who gets in? Very, very, very simple question. Ester 8 is the top of pay to win. You won't win versus Thamine. You'll get kicked after 2 pulls when you die. Who gets invited? Simple question. It's a very simple question. Just to answer the question. It's easy. It's a yes or no, right? It's me or him. Like, what's taking so long? You're not about to type out a whole paragraph, are you? You're right. 655 maximum Ester big system right. Okay. So then they win. Pay to win. All right. It's pay games, pay to win. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, that was my point.
In fact, the only MMOs that I can think of right now that appear 100% confirmed to have neither of these are Corepunk and Ashes of Creation. Just about every other MMO that we know of coming out in the next few years has one or the other. And yes, it just makes these games worse. It makes them less enjoyable, 100%. At least speaking personally. But it's also pretty much unescapable. If you like the genre, you basically just have to put up with it and try to enjoy the games in spite of it. Which brings
I completely disagree with that. I think if you really love the genre, you have to stop playing the games. Because if consumers collectively decide they're not going to play a certain type of game, the market will adjust and adapt to that. The problem is that people don't like it, but they keep playing the games because they like them enough, and they don't care about it enough. I think Helldivers 2 showed that if enough people get pissed off about something, they'll walk it back, and they won't do it. So if enough people get mad, then they will 100% change things. It'll take so many years, though. Yeah, but yeah, vote with your wallet and vote with your feet.
Back to my earlier question of where is my line for pay to win. I think I've really realized over the years that it varies from game to game, but generally speaking, I will hit that line whenever a cash shop inserts itself into the play experience and gets in the way of progression. If it's surfaced to me while I'm playing and just trying to enjoy the game, that's when I really dislike it. A game merely having a cash shop, selling convenience, or even power doesn't necessarily make me not want to play, because that would mean not playing pretty much every MMO on the market, because they're all...
That's the way you should do it. That's what I do. I mean, like, I'll play a game like that if I want to for, like, stream content, but the moment that I feel like I'm playing a pay-to-win game in that way, like an MMO, then I just stop playing it. That's why I stopped playing Lost Ark, because it was just like, it was a waste of time. It's the reason why I don't play a lot of games. That's kind of the reasons why I stopped playing Classic WoW. It's like, okay, or like even Retail WoW, to like a lesser extent. It's just like, it's just a pay to win, right? You spend hundreds and stop? No, I do, because I'm doing it on stream, but like, you don't see me playing, like, there's none of these games that I play that are like off stream things. That's my point, right? Is like, I'm not doing this, like, if it wasn't for streaming, I wouldn't be doing it at all.
Having some variation of that. But yes, whenever it becomes obvious through the course of naturally playing that I would be better off swiping and accelerating my progress, that is normally when I'm going to check out. Exactly. I'm happy to enjoy a game up until that point, but once I hit it, see you later, right? It'll never happen, but I do wish, I really do, that we could just go back to the days of I will buy your game, I will pay a subscription, please get rid of everything else. It was so much simpler and so much more enjoyable, because you could just...
Well, the reason why game developers don't do that is because the players don't hold them accountable. If whenever World of Warcraft added in the Celestial Steed in like 2008 or 2009, whenever it was, in Wrath, And every single player who was playing the game said, or at least like a huge percentage of them said, I'm done playing this game. I'm already paying a subscription. You're not going to charge me for another fucking thing in the game. I guarantee you they would have taken it out and we wouldn't be seeing so many store mounts now. The reason why that is in the game is because players accept it. They let it happen.
Because the subscription, with the subscription was there, I was paying the $15 a month.
Yes.
But I didn't have to think about it when I was playing. When I have to think
Everybody
about the
was
fact
on an even
that
playing
there
field.
is additional monetization, and I'm walking into these monetization walls, these paywalls that I need to either swipe or grind for excessive amounts of times to progress over. When that happens, it really, really sours the whole game experience. And yes, it makes me want to check out, and 9 times out of 10, that is the point in which I do check out. But that is it for today. Checking out of this video. Thank you as always for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I will see you all next time. Take it easy.
I think he's completely right about everything, by the way.
So a few weeks ago,
He's totally right, but I do think that customers do have the power if enough of them stop playing the games. I'll link you guys a video. Make sure you give it a like. This is a great video. And I wish more people talked about this.